afternoon, everyone. I'm back again, Minister Danielle from Mount Zion Worldwide Ministries, Youth on Fire, and I have with me
Sister Ayana
and Sister
Kaya.
and Sister Kaya. Thank you guys for joining us again. Last segment we were talking about peer pressure. We were talking about how, especially us approaching the new school year, and you guys as youth encountering peer pressure. That's one of the biggest things that as a young adult, as a youth, that you guys face from day to day, in school, out of school, especially with your fellow peers. Pressure, the pressures of life, the pressure to be someone that you're not, to do things that you may not necessarily want to do, that goes against your belief system as being young believers. And that's what we want to focus on today, because we want to encourage you guys as you enter into this new school year to be strong and to be encouraged and to be confident in who God has called you to be, that it's okay to be different and not to give into the pressures. So last time we were talking about how with peer pressure, we're talking about from your friends, they may pressure you because of the fact of you wanting to fit in, you now succumbing to what their idea of being cool is, right? So now they may have you drink, have you smoke, have you carry on a conversation that you guys shouldn't have, and do things that you guys aren't supposed to do. There's pressures on so many different levels when it comes to you guys as youth. And one of the keys that we ended off with in the last segment is connecting with the right people. Positive peer pressure, because peer pressure can be positive or negative. You can hang around people who are going to lead you down the wrong road, or you can connect yourself with people who are going to lead you down the right road, right? Who's going to, in a sense, gird you up when you're struggling and you're feeling weak, when you don't know what to do. They're going to tell you the right thing to do and not tell you the wrong thing to do, right? So one of the other ways about overcoming peer pressure, right? Being confident. Being confident in who? Yourself, right? Don't you think that with peer pressure that a lot of the issue is there's no confidence in yourself?
It's more one of those things where it's like during the summer you're having fun, you're enjoying yourself, but then once you get to school and you see all those kids, it's one of those things where like, well, am I pretty like them? Maybe the shoes that they have isn't exactly what I have, but do they look at us the same because of that? Or it's one of those things where, do I have enough makeup on, or is my hair done like this? Because she likes theirs more than they like mine. And because of that, it puts their self down to where sometimes it makes people don't even want to show up to school. It makes people want to do things where they either want to stay home, or that causes them into the bad pressure where now they want to cut school, they want to cut class. They don't even want to show up. They'll tell their mom that they're going somewhere, but they're ending up going somewhere else.
And see, that's a perfect example. Whereas sometimes us as adults, we forget the pressures where you guys are going into school, and you may have confidence, and we can tell you how great you are, how beautiful you are, how amazing you are. But then when you get around other kids, you may see a girl getting a certain amount of attention, and then you begin to question yourself and say, well, maybe if I carry myself like her, or if I have my hair like her, or dress like her. These are the different pressures. Oh, she has on $200 sneakers and my sneakers are $20, and now you feel that you're not as good as the person with the $200 sneakers because she's cool because she has this. She's cool because she looks like this. Or I'm not beautiful if my hair is not flowing down my back. I'm not beautiful if I don't have makeup on. I'm not beautiful if I'm not carrying myself and where all the boys want to, are after me and giving me that kind of attention. And these are the pressures that our youth are going through, that you guys are going through who are listening. And what we want to let you know that you're not alone. All of us go through it. The thing is how do we overcome it? How do we get through it? Because pressure is going to be there. But how do we navigate through it? And we talked about, again, connecting yourself with people who, guess what? When you're feeling low, they're going to build you up and tell you, yes, you are beautiful. You are smart. You don't have to lower yourself or lower your standards to gain friends. Because guess what? People are going to love you, Kaya, as you are. Right? And the same thing for you, Ayana, and for you out there as well. There's going to be people who God will put in your life that's going to love you for who you are, and you don't have to wear certain clothes. You don't have to dress a certain way. You don't have to, lower your standards. They're going to accept you for who you are and what you believe in. That's what true friendship is, when they accept you that, you know what, I believe in God. I don't talk like this. I don't carry myself like this. I don't believe the things that you do. And they respect it. They don't try to change you. And that's one of the keys. And also, again, like I said, being confident in yourself. Someone else can tell you a million times how great you are, but you have to believe it in yourself. Because if you don't believe it in yourself, guess what? Nobody who tells you it's not going to make a difference. So now we we have to begin to tell ourselves that guess what, we're amazing, that we're beautiful, that we're great just the way we are, and anything that we have is just an addition. It's just an addition. It doesn't make us who we are, right? God has created us all individual. And remember, Ayana, we talked about this in a couple of sessions ago before, right? We talked about identity and understanding who you are in God, being confident in who you are. And it's easier said than done, especially when you're bombarded with so many different images, when you're bombarded with TV and you see women, especially our young women, dressing a certain way and carrying themselves a certain way. You're thinking, oh, that's the way that I ought to be. But no, God created you the way that you are, and you each and every one of you are special in your own individual way. And don't let anybody take that away from you. You have to have confidence. So how do we build that confidence? Telling ourselves how great we are, right? You have to believe it and begin with yourself. So that's why I always say, right, girls, that you have to tell yourself, you know what, I'm great, I'm smart. I tell you, don't ever say that you can't do something, because the God that's in you has all power, right? So is there anything that you can't do? No. There's nothing that you can't accomplish. So you can't say, oh, I can't do this this class. I can't pass this test. I can't, you know, all these different things that we say we can't. We have to take that out of our vocabulary and believe and trust who God has called us to be, right? So even with that kind of pressure, we said connecting with the right people, being confident, and praying. And that's the key. Sometimes we forget, even our youth, you guys need to pray and keep that connection with God. And God will strengthen you in prayer. Sometimes, you know, you may feel like you're all alone and you may be by yourself. But guess who's always there? God is always there, right? And he will strengthen you, and he will send people in your life to encourage you and to strengthen you as well, right? Now, we know peer pressure is a big thing. But guess what? Pressure comes, like I said, in different ways. There's pressure that we put on ourselves, even in achieving, right? And even as you go back to school this year, guys, the pressure on getting straight A's, passing all your tests, making sure that mom and dad is pleased, that, you know, that's the pressure too, right? Mom and dad wants to see A's. They don't want to see B's and C's on those report cards. They want you to achieve at the sports that you may be a part of, or the different activities. They want you to be the best. So all these different pressures from parents, or from and even college, like you said, Kaya, college, preparing yourself for college, SATs, ACTs, all these different tests that you have to take, Regents exams that you guys have to take, all this pressure. And sometimes us adults, for those who are watching, our youth go through a lot. Our youth have so much that's weighing on them. So can you talk about that a little bit, Kaya, especially you being in high school, the pressure of just being a student and achieving?
As far as high school, well, I can speak from middle school too, because I just turned into a sophomore this September. So what it does is not just the fact of fitting in, because a lot of times there are individuals who don't care whether they fit in or not, as long as they do what they have to do in school to get out of it. Because I will say a lot of kids find school as prison. So some of the pressure that we can deal with is not just parent-wise, but also yourself-wise. One of those things where it's like, some people understand work differently from others. So it's one of those things where it's like, somebody else might get it and fly through the work and hand it in, rather it's a substitute or your original teacher, and other kids might just sit there and just like, they can read the question over and over again and still won't get it completely.
It takes time.
And then what makes it even worse is it's not just the fact of it taking time, it's the fact that a lot of kids are scared to ask for help because they don't know how people are going to come up. The attitude that people have. There's certain kids, like I can even speak for myself, there's a look that you give where everybody thinks that you're mean until you talk to them, and now they see a bigger smile. So now there's certain kids where they don't want to talk to you because of, well, they didn't see you smile. They're just seeing you stare at people. Maybe it's not their good day, and then it turns into one of those things where they just want to sit and try and figure out themselves, and then they're sitting here getting frustrated, and they have homework based on the work that they did in class. So now they don't want to ask the teachers for help, or if they do ask the teachers for help, yeah, she helped me somewhat, but not all the way. There's still some things that I don't understand. So it's as far as what level you're on, and then once you get through, and then you hit the test, and then the test comes, and it's like, well, I figured out the work, but sometimes the tests that you get aren't always based on the work that she taught you. So then you have to think based on what she did teach you to see how you can answer this in different ways. And then once the SATs come, the Regents, the state tests, all these things into one, it's like, well, will I still remember this question? Do I still remember what she taught me? Because yeah, I didn't understand it then, but maybe I'll understand it now. Maybe I should just guess. Maybe I should try and cheat, and then that what turns into pressure because you don't know if you want to give up, if you want to keep going, if you just want to sit here and stay at that one question. Now there's time running out, the bell's gonna ring, there's nobody that can help you, and it's one of those things where now they do it based on time. It's like the kids, they come in, there are some kids where they know what they're doing, but because they're so based on friends, they don't want to do it. They wait till we got 10 minutes left in the bell to want to do the work. There's some kids where as soon as they get there, they just want to do the work so that they can have fun with their friends and sit in a corner and talk about the show that happened last night or talk about what they went to go buy with their mom and whatnot. And then there's other times where it's like, oh, well, gym is next period or lunch is next period, so let me just hurry up and get this out the way, or I don't want to do this, I'll do it tomorrow.
Right.
And then once they run out of time and they get their report card and whatnot, they be like, well, what did I do wrong?
Right. See, and the thing is that sometimes we forget, especially us as older adults, is that the pressures of just being in school. I remember, my age, there was pressure, but what I see with you guys is so much more because they put so much more of a demand on you to achieve, and they base it all on a test. Right? So it's not even an overall aspect of it. It's just more so just a test. And so there's a lot of pressure because there's a lot of kids who are very smart. There's a lot of kids who know a lot of things, but guess what? They may not be the best test takers. So now they're intelligent children, they're intelligent youth, but then a test tells them something different. Because they might have been a little bit off that day, or they may learn a little different. So there's so much pressure on self and from external as far as expectations and test-wise. See, sometimes we just think it's just the peer pressure, but we have the peer pressure coupled with pressure of achieving and being great. There's so much weight on somebody who's so young and fragile, right? And that's what you guys go through from day to day, because guess what? You want to please yourself. You want to be the best that you can be. Then you have mom and dad that you want to have them be proud of you. You want other people to be proud of you. You want other people to think you're smart. And you said something, Kai, is that sometimes that people are afraid to ask for help because they don't want to look, in a sense, stupid or look like they don't know. So then that's a pressure right there, because in a sense they're struggling on the inside because they need help, but they don't want to look a certain way from the outside. And guess what? Then now they suffer because they don't extend or reach out for help. So these are the different things that you guys and your fellow classmates, your fellow youth, your fellow peers are going through, and that those who are watching are going through. So we're here just to say that, to acknowledge what's going on, that guess what, you're not alone. We know about the peer pressures and the different pressures of life that you're going through, but guess what, when you have God, He will be your strength. When you have God, there's nothing that you cannot accomplish. And it may sound cliche, but it's not a cliche when it's the truth, right? When you have God, when you feel like you don't have the strength, God will give you the strength. When you don't feel like you have the wisdom, God will give you the wisdom. And again, the key is to connect yourself with people who are like-minded. Connect yourself with people who, guess what, when you're feeling like you can't make it, they're going to pull you up by your arm and say, guess what, yes you can, because the God that's in you is greater than what you are experiencing or going through, right? And it's the same thing when those pressures come from, whether it be from boys, whether it be from other people in your class, wherever the pressure comes from, connection is key, because guess what, you can't make it alone. And your connection with other people and your connection with God, that is the key. Guess what? Because again, like I said before, when you connect with people, guess what? You are who you associate with. So you want to associate with greatness. You want to associate with people who want better. You want to associate with people who, guess what, who love God, who are on fire for God. Because guess what? When you feeling a little out the ways, their fire will get you started. They will get you going. You don't need people to pull you down. You don't need people to pull you away from God. But as you go forth in this new school year, right? Be confident in yourself. If you have to wake up in the morning, pray, and look at yourself in the mirror, and remember, I will tell you guys to do this affirmation. Tell yourself how great you are, how beautiful you are, how you can do anything. You have to begin to speak over yourself to the point that you actually believe it. So when something happens and something comes up and tries to tell you something different, you say, no. That's not truth. The truth is that I can. The truth is that I don't need to be that way. The truth is that, guess what? I don't need you to be my friend if you're going to cause me to compromise who I am. That's not true friendship, right? So as you guys go forth in the school year, I want you to be encouraged. I want you guys to be strengthened. I want you guys to be confident. I want you guys to even strengthen your relationship with God, because He's the one that's going to keep you. Because guess what? When other people aren't around and God is all you have, He's the one that's going to be your strength. It's not a cliche, it's the truth. It is the complete truth. So as we close out, right, and I want you guys just to say a few words to encourage your fellow brothers and sisters in God about being confident about as they go forth in this school year, what God is putting on your heart to say.
Okay, so you have to know to be yourself. You shouldn't care what other people have to say, because you know that that's a lie. You know that you're beautiful. You know that you are smart.
Yes.
That you are better than what they think you are, because like, how can I say this? God will always be there for you.
Yes.
Like Minister Dumais said, people trying to pull you down. They might try to pull you down, but you have to rise up and know that God is there, that He will give you peace, and He will give you joy. Because when I was in school, people, like, they teased me. I was going through a phase, and people teased me. They call me names. They try to fight me, but I know that God was there for me, and He had gave me peace, and He had gave me joy. That a moment, I did care, but then
and that's the
I
human
had
side.
people who had gave me courage, who was there for me, who tell me, you know that God's there for you.
Right.
The only thing you gotta do is pray, and I think that's it.
Okay, well that's great. I like what you said, is that at the end of the day you had what we've been talking about. You had people that were there for you when you had your moment, right? And you also revealed the human side. You're not going to be a super young saint where you're not going to feel, right? Where you're not going to feel that you're not going to hurt. You're going to hurt. You're going to feel bothered. You're going to go through. That's life. As long as you're attached to this flesh, you're going to have emotion. But guess what? After you cry, after you feel hurt, after the pain, after the disappointment, like Sister Ayana said, rise up. Don't stay there. Know who you are. Be confident in who you are. Sister Kaya?
Well, it's kind of what Sister Ayana said.
That's okay.
When it comes to school, when September starts and you start getting used to the year, don't be one of those people where, well, a lot of people, they go through anxiety and depression, and they go through self-harm, and parents say this, and what it is don't let that mess up your schoolwork. It's not just about having friends and what people might think about you, because at the end of the day, when they're enjoying their summer and you're with your family, they're not going to be there to tease you and go like this, because at the end of the day, when you're in the summer and you're in the pool, and some people in Florida and some people in Miami and some people, they having barbecues, it's one of those things where your friends are doing completely differently from what you're doing. You don't want to end up in summer school. And it comes up to one of those things where it does lead into bullying sometimes. Sometimes it leads into where people want to knock your books down in high school. You're trying to race and leave the hallway before the bell rings, before everybody's in the hallway. And what it is all you need to know is that even though when you don't think that God is there, that's when He's there the most. It's one of those things where it's like, well, since nobody wants to help me and nobody wants to be my friend, I might as well just be alone. You are never alone. Rather, you have friends, family.
Right.
You only have your books that you read. God is always there with you. Like, when you have a problem you don't understand, all of a sudden it clicks. That's God trying to point out what it was. And it's one of those things where it's like, well, now that you're confident in yourself and you know who's with you, despite the fact that you have friends or not, it doesn't matter if you're popular or not. As long as you get through the day, as long as you get through the weekend, as long as you get through the school year.
Yes.
It doesn't matter about pleasing. Yeah, it does matter about pleasing your parents, but it also matters about yourself. If you're not happy, then
nobody's going to be happy.
Nobody's going to be happy either, because now you're going to want to give an attitude to other people, and your depression, you're going to want to sit yourself in the corner. Everybody's going to be like, well, where did you go?
Yes.
So.
Awesome. Yes.
One of my friends, when I used to go to Apple School, like just middle of the school year, I had one of my friends, she was in 7th grade, and she was like, her cousin, we was in dance class, so her cousin was in dance class too. And then her cousin passed me a note, like there was a note going around, and she's saying how she's gonna kill herself. And then we was like, you're not gonna do that. And then they gave it ended up to the dance teacher, and then she talked to all of us. And then I'm just like, wow, I was like, why would someone do that to themselves? And then she was talking to us about how she felt about what's going on in day school, and she had saying how people picking on her, how people beating her up in the corner in the stairwell. It was just like this stairwell and like all in the back, nobody goes there, right? And they used to take her and beat her up, and you could see like these marks on her skin and everything. We don't know what happened to her. She make up some stories, and it was like and I had talked to her. I was like, there's no reason to do that. I was like, cause you know I'm not afraid to fight, and I know I got God by me, so I'm cool. And then I was like, but there's still no reason to do that, because you should still know that someone's there for you. That you shouldn't just kill yourself because of what people are doing to you. Okay, you might get hurt, you might be scared, you might be afraid, and because her parents, the parents not really there for her. They're not really there, so she don't have nobody how to talk to or how to tell her how to
come out of it.
And I was like, you know that you could always go to God, because He's always there. Because I know that some people, they think when they need God the most, He's not there. Like He's somewhere else talking to someone else or on the other side of the world. But He's actually there. God is sitting on His throne. When He sits on His throne, He's looking over all of us.
Yes.
Doesn't matter where we are. He's there.
Amen. And that's the key, is that you guys, those who are watching, you may know somebody as a friend or a classmate that's going through so much, who went through a lot last year and even going into this year, that they're afraid to, this youth that's afraid to even start school because of what they may encounter. They're afraid of the pressure, they're afraid of the peer pressure, the bullying, all these different things. But like the two young ladies said, know that God is with you. And you may say, well, how's God going to help me? He is your strength. And I know, again, it sounds cliche, but He is your strength. And that's why it's key to keep your relationship with Him as solid as you can, to pray always, to cover yourself as you go to school, and to know that, guess what, one of the tricks of the enemy is to make you feel that nobody cares, to make you feel that you're alone. But guess what, you're not alone. Probably the person that sits next to you in class feels the exact same way. So this is why we have this outlet, so that you can talk, so that you can get it out. So this way you know that you're not alone. So we come to encourage you, right, and even our own selves, right, to know that as you're going on in September, to be confident, to trust God, to know God is always there. And then if you are experiencing bullying, if you're feeling pressure, talk to someone that you feel that you can open up your heart to and tell them. Because one of the biggest tricks of the enemy is to make you feel that you're alone and that nobody will understand. But guess what? Somebody is going to understand. Somebody knows exactly what you're going through. And when you're able to speak about it, guess what? That's when your help is going to come. That's when your strength is going to come. Don't ever feel that you're alone. If you don't have a mom, talk to your dad. If you don't have a dad, talk to your mom or aunt, an adult that you can trust, someone older that you can trust, your fellow youth minister or pastor, someone. Talk. The biggest thing is not to talk and to hold everything in, but make sure you find somebody, like I said, who's going to encourage you. Connect with the right people. Be vigilant in that. I think that's the biggest thing, is that having somebody that you can be accountable to, that when you're going through, that you can talk to, and know that they're going to give you sound and wise advice, right? Not the friend that's going to tell you to do wrong, right? But again, you guys are going through so much, but we want to just encourage you to know that you're not alone, to be strengthened, and don't ever feel that you have to take your life, because no situation, believe me, whatever situation you're in is not worth your life. It's not worth hurting yourself. It's not worth hurting anybody else. Talk to somebody. Let out, if it's anger or whatever emotions that you're going through, let it out. Just like the young lady, she's passing a note around talking about she wanted to kill herself because of what she was going through, but she didn't let nobody know. And if she would have let somebody know, somebody would have been there to help her. And don't feel that, guess what, nobody's going to help me. Somebody's going to help you. somebody is going to be there. God will send the right person in your life to help you with whatever it is that you're going through. So we want to say be encouraged, be strengthened, be confident, and most of all, be blessed. All right, I am Minister Danielle, and this is...
I'm Sister Ayana.
And Sister Kaya.
And we just want to say God bless you and continue to support the page. We pray that the messages are a blessing to you, and we pray that you send them, share them, ask people to subscribe and follow, because we want to get as many youth to follow the page, to be encouraged, to be strengthened, because we know that it's not easy. But we just want to say that we love you. God bless.